this is my submission for Stonefly Any Percent into SGDQ 2022. Stonefly is a wonderful little indie game that was made by Flight School Studios in 2021, and so I'm very excited to show it off. I hope that you can have a wonderful time with this submission, and let's see how it goes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, let's go. I want this to be a race between me and Roadkill Revenge, and this is my third time recording this, so whatever happens. And so we're just gonna try and get we're just going to try and do as good as we can with this no reset run, because this game has a lot of reactive stuff. We need to react to how the game gives you certain RNG elements, how the enemies react to you, and so that's why I think it's going to be a really good race, because, you know, seeing how two different runners appear in different situations is going to be really interesting to see. But of course, at the end of the day, it's whatever you guys need us for. And so right here, we're going to go straight into Krissa, and we're getting introduced to our primary mode of transportation, which is the mechs. The mechs are what I'm holding right now. And so these mechs are going to do a lot of different abilities. One of them is the dash, the other one is mining. I did mining right there by collecting some of the limonite, which is one of these several different kinds of minerals that we're going to be interacting with throughout this game. As you can see, the camera likes to move over here while I'm in this section as we're too far to the left, but you know, that's part of the charm of it, to think. And so right here, we're going to be dashing by hitting right bumper and just keep spamming that, dashing as it replenishes. Thankfully, all these buggos are in a group, so we're pretty easy to dash off of to blow off of the ledge here. And so these buggos are pretty harmless. This is our first encounter, which is like the battle sequences of this game, and so these buggos they're not gonna attack us at all, but they do get rid of a lot of the minerals that you have in this section. And so the minerals are something that you need in order to upgrade certain mechanics later in the game, and so you don't want these buggos to eat them. However, these popcorn buggos that we just saw right there, they will harm you, and so we got rid of them for that purpose, so they wouldn't harm us, and also so they wouldn't eat the minerals. And moving back and forth between two mineral deposits actually allows you to get to the max mining speed faster than just grabbing all the minerals in one deposit versus another mineral in another. And so we're going to be seeing me do that a lot throughout this run. These minerals that we're collecting, limonite, we want at least 3,000. We want around the ballpark 3,400 of them exiting this tutorial section. And so we seem to be doing pretty well on that front so far. We are around the limonite number that we want. We're gonna grab as much as we can out of this deposit, but not too much, because these popcorn guys, those are the slightly bigger buggos, are going to attack us. We're going to grab this limonite and get right out of the way before this wind blows us off. And so we want to go straight up into this next section. This is the last part of the tutorial. We are in another forced encounter. And the enemy RNG, there are 3 different spots of this leaf that the enemies could be on. Usually they're on all 3, or at the very least 2. But there have been occasions in which all the enemies are on a single part of the leaf, and if they're all in one group, it's actually incredibly easy for you to just push them off all at once. And so we're going to grab as much as we can with this limonite right here. And we're going to unveil this final part, and then just go straight into the end where we finish our first split of the tutorial, and then go to this next section where we realize that our father's mech that we just used in Krissa has been stolen, and so we need to go take it back. But now we get introduced to the grasshopper. Hippity hoppity, this grasshopper has velocity. And as you can see, sometimes it likes to get stuck on things too. And with this grasshopper, you need to just keep spamming A or X on the PlayStation controller that I'm using right now. This game, I feel like, kind of assumes you're using an Xbox controller or any controller where A is at the bottom, and so you want to make sure that you're just spamming whatever button it is to jump. And because if this grasshopper is on like the floor for like 0.2 seconds, it's going to lose its velocity. And as we give these cutscenes, my personal headcanon for this grasshopper is that his name is Kevin. And yeah, that's the only amount of my headcanon that I've actually come up with. In this next section, we have another force encounter. And we do not grab any of the minerals here because it does not matter whatsoever. We get introduced to the boomlings. The boomlings are these guys that will shoot their poison at you. And the poison will kind of make a bit of an explosion. And the only enemies we actually have to take care of during this section is the popcorn buggos and the boomlings, because those are considered hostile enemies. As you can see, when I hold down the red arrows, I hold down on the D-pad, the red arrows will show me where all of the hostile enemies are, and so those are the only enemies that we actually have to deal with. It doesn't matter about these minerals. You will get a set amount of minerals each set, and every time we finish that specific encounter, so grabbing them just is meaningless. And so right here, we are going to get introduced to the main cast, which is Clara, who we just bought a keyhole clamp from, Ravenwood, and then Tulip or David. And so these are the people that we're going to be encountering throughout the entire game. They're going to help us out on our adventures. We're going to help them out in theirs. There's A plots, there's B plots, or stuff like that. And right here, we're going to get introduced to our rig, or our mech that we have. And this is the primary mode of transportation that we're going to be using out through the entire game. This is our mech. This is the one that we're going to be using throughout the whole game. With the exception of, at the very last level of the game. And right here in this section, we're going to get introduced to the next area, which is Nightlight Briar. And skip. Okay. So during Nightlight Briar, we're just going to go to this specific section of the map right here, and we want to collect a specific amount of certain minerals called laurinite and dalium. First off, I want to mention that in the previous section, we upgraded 2 abilities. One of them, which is the jump ability, which is exactly that, just allowing you to jump. And then the other one is the break ability, allowing you to make a little bit of an explosion in the surrounding area, harming the enemies. However, that's not one that I use very often, and so we're probably not going to see it all that much throughout this run. And so the mineral RNG and the enemy RNG right now is pretty much in our favor. The enemies can vary from the boomers to a lot of just popcorn buggies, and then a lot of the minerals in this game, such as the dalium and the laurinite. The dalium is this black stuff, and the laurinite is like the bluish, tealish stuff. And so we want to... Oh my god, I'm mining enemies while I'm on enemy. Look at that. I've never seen that before. That's never happened before. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. That's hilarious. And so we're going to collect as much dalium as we can, as much laurinite as we can. We are going to lose time here in comparison to PvE. I'm actually going to compare to average just to make myself feel better. Only because you were spending a lot of time collecting the minerals, and so that's kind of something that you need to make sure that you're good at, is collecting minerals, but also kind of like saving time. And so you don't want to spend too much time on it. And these little long-nosed guys, these long snouty guys, are an enemy that we're going to be introduced to pretty frequently throughout the run. And they just shoot out poison from their noses. It's nothing very harmful. You can definitely like deal with them pretty easily, as we've been seeing here. And so we have a very good amount of dalium. The only thing that we're really missing is the laurinite. The laurinite is something that's very important. The laurinite is again, as I said, the bluish color, and we want around 2,000 of that coming out here. I think we're around 300, or not even 300, around 500 short. And so we want to hopefully get as much laurinite as we can throughout this last section, although we want around 150 Dalium, but we're way ahead. We are incredibly ahead on Dalium here. However, even if you are behind in these sections, the Dalium and the Lornite are probably two of the most easiest things to back up, pretty much because they're guaranteed to always appear in this section right here. And so we want to make sure that we get a good amount of them in this section. Also in Gensen Trail as well. Gensen Trail is a specific area that will have a lot of each of those sections. This encounter right here, that we have to fight these long-nosed enemies, as well as some different enemies right here. As I'm waiting for these enemies to spawn in, I'm going to collect some Lornites to speed this process up. But in reality, you only have to fight specific ones. Or again, you only have to have the hostile enemies, which are these long-nosed guys. And so we technically can skip this encounter that we just did, but I'm choosing not to because I want to rack up on the Lornite that I was given during this encounter. And also the skips that we have found for it are pretty inconsistent. We're going to grab some Lornite here as well as here, and then we're just going to go straight to the end. Boom. Alright. If we can grab some quick Lornite on the way, we will, but it's not something that I'm going to quickly focus on like we did there. During this encounter, for whatever reason, there's actually a checkpoint in the middle of this encounter, and you can just quit to main menu and then restart the file. And then boom, you're done. Now you can just, you don't even have to deal with the encounter anymore. Technically, there is a way that actually Roadkill Revenge, the person that I want to race this with, she actually does skip that encounter pretty well as well, but she actually physically goes around the barrier instead of going through it and resetting checkpoint. I've tried it. It's not as consistent as essentially the guaranteed reset to checkpoint strat, and so I just choose to opt for that one instead. This specific encounter is one of my least favorites because of these incredibly speedy boys that I'm going to be calling them, because I'm a bad speeder and I forgot the official names of some of these bugs. And so we are going to try and get rid of these speedy boys. Sometimes if they attack you, you can trick them into like getting shot off the ledge. However, that really only works if you're like if they're already near the ledge in this section while you're there. Ooh, that's really good though. We got all of them at once, so we can just push them all up on the ledge like that. And right here, I'm going to collect all this Lornite until we get around 8,000. I'm pretty sure we're going to be just barely making that mark. Beautiful. And then there is some Dalium underneath those rocks there that we are going to collect, but we're actually going to trigger a cutscene, because once that cutscene happens, it's going to start a timer, and then once that cutscene ends, we're going to get transported back to the main hub where we can upgrade some materials. But during that cutscene, we're going to come back to this section, and then we're going to collect all the Dalium that we missed. Activate that cutscene with the real shoemaker that we didn't get to see in the previous one. We just talked to his assistant Henry, and so we're going to go and get the rest of the Dalium right here as we glide down. And the reason that I grabbed all of the Lornite instead of just going to the cutscene and then triggering it and then coming back later is because those little tiny bugs that you don't have to kill but are here and they exist anyway, they will actually eat all of the Lornite while you're away. I've tried it. They will eat all of it. They eat fast, and so you want to just try and get rid of all of the opened and exposed minerals first, before coming back and getting all of the minerals underneath the rocks. Beautiful. And then we're going to get a pressure mold, 3 neutron epoxies, and a hardened crystal, and we're going to sell all of the sellable materials in order to get some backup resources for later. We're going to upgrade to dash, and we're going to upgrade mining speed level 1. Beautiful. And then we're going to go to Shoemaker's shop, because and then we're going to go straight to the right here. We're going to discover Nightlight Village. You're going to get the dash ability. And I actually forgot to discover this earlier, so we're going to lose a bit of time for not getting the checkpoint, or the fast travel point. But it's not that much time lost. It's perfectly fine. And so I like to turn to the right here because we want to get as much minerals off this chunk as we can. It's very nice backup minerals, and thankfully the enemy behavior doesn't seem to be too detrimental here, and so we can just get those resources quickly. But it's not incredibly necessary if you're really good at the next section that's going to come after this, which is the alpha. And so the alpha is a giant enemy that you can actually land on top of and collect minerals off of its back. It's going to have a bunch of little enemies on top of it, and we're going to see that around a few times throughout this run. And so first of all, what we want to do is actually dash through this section, and we want to get to the snowy section that we're going to come back to later. But the reason that we come to it now is because we want this cutscene to happen where we find out that our mech actually can't handle extremely cold environments, and so we want to collect specific minerals so we can upgrade it for later. And so right here, we actually want to go get the alpha tracks, and so the alpha tracks will allow us to track an alpha. And the alpha is where we can get all the minerals. And every time that you quit and restart the file, there's around a 50-50 shot that the alpha the alpha tracks show up. And so, thankfully, that didn't happen. That didn't waste too much time doing it. Oh, but the game is being mean to me and it's asking me to get 3 instead of 2. Okay. Not too bad, not the worst RNG that I've had, but definitely not the best. It's something that we can deal with, we can manage. Okay, this is the Dynatite that we need to actually upgrade the mech. Please shut up about my dash ability. I understand that I have it. You don't need to tell me again and again. It's going to tell me again and again. Sometimes when you reset your file too many times, it has that weird bug. But you know, what are you gonna do about it? Because like you need to reset the file in order to grab the alpha track. So it's just like you're gonna lose more time by not doing that. So we want around 600 gallium coming out of this. We want around 2,400 2,400 Dynatite. You want around 13,400 Limadot, or no, Laurinite, sorry. And then that's what we're going to use for the upgrades, not only in this specific section coming after it, but throughout the later portions of the game. So we have 600 gallium, perfect. We're going to get some extra, just to be safe, around 50 extra. We're going to get, again, 2,400 Dynatite, as I mentioned. Oh dear, okay, these enemies really like to be mean to us sometimes, so you know what, we're just not going to let that bother us. And sometimes the sections just like to give us a lot of wind, and so we don't really appreciate it when it does that. Okay, that's pretty nice, it's pretty good, pretty decent. Okay, we're pretty good on Dynatite at the moment, so I'm going to focus a bit more on the Laurinite, which is pretty quick to get, pretty easy to get, but it's also pretty easy to overlook, because you're so focused on grabbing all the other ones because they're a bit more like consistent. They're a bit more important to get because they're not as easy to back up. And so we're trying to get to the edge right here. We're gonna get 13,000, a bit over 13,000. That's perfect. And we're gonna grab the Pyatite here, which is this golden mineral. And we're just gonna let the timer run out. Okay, and now we're going to upgrade from the snow shell in order to withstand the cold environments. And then we're going to get the pull ability, which I don't use, but it's required. And then we'll get the air ability, which I do use all the time, and it's not required. Losing around 30 seconds just from pretty poor RNG tracking the alphas themselves, not even on the alpha, but like actually getting the alpha tracks. Alright. And then in this next section is the mountain. Not a lot happens here, so it's actually a pretty good time for donations. And so I am going to just dash through here. And the arrow ability actually allows us to have a little bit of a dash, like so, throughout the levels. And also just holding down right bumper while you're in midair just allows you to naturally go faster. And so you want to be able to make sure that you're holding down our right bumper through essentially out the rest of the entire run. Like it's something that adds up a lot. So okay, that's fine. Hasn't happened to me in a while, but yeah. Sometimes the game will, like the colliders on the collision on some of these branches will be really weird. The game will only allow you to like actually land on like a piece of on a platform if it has like stable ground and it knows you're gonna land safely. But sometimes on these like edges, these cylindrical objects such as branches and stuff like that, the colliders can be pretty weird. And so we're going to exit this section. Again, not a lot to say here because it's usually a pretty good place for donations. We're just going to take this man who is on a journey of self-discovery, and we're going to bring him to safety. Losing a little bit of time from that screw up falling down, but you know, it's perfectly fine. And we're going to go next to the thief, which is the next section of this game. And during this section, we get introduced to a new area of the maple canopy. And during this section, we want to grab a few alpha tracks. We also want to back up and get as much limodont, dalium, and dynatite as we can in this section. Looks like the RNG for the dynatite is going to be pretty nice. I usually like to get around. I usually like to, if like it has dynatite, even if I have enough at this point, I always want to get extra. Because, you know, extra is good. Alright, perfect. And thankfully there's also some, there's 2 alpha tracks there. That's really nice. And we're going to see if we can get some dalium here as well. That's really, really good. Okay, that's nice. We're going to get around 750 of that. And then we want to see if there's some more limodont here. I think that's the only thing that I'm really missing from this entourage. I'm going to get around 4,000. I'm going to pretty much get this entire thing. We're going to finish around 4,000, then we're going to move on. Overall, not that bad. I think we're going to cut around even here because my goal is just me having really bad RNG and not getting really good. My goal is having really bad RNG and not like getting any minerals there. So in reality, it's both a blessing and a curse to get no minerals there. I'm going to skip this split. Okay, hold up. No, I undid the split. I forget what my hotkeys are. Although I don't really have time to like actually finish it. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, that should have worked. There we go. Perfect. Alright, I'm skipping a lot of encounters here, and I got distracted by the fact that my last bit was really weird. And so, these encounters, I'm just flying around the colliders for them, and so you don't want to interact with any of these ones because we are going around them. The first one, I just flew around it, and the second one, again, I flew actually over it by jumping on a leaf, and then the third one, I once again just flew around it by getting some height, getting on that yellow leaf and then the brown leaf, and then just going around it. However, this encounter right here is a force encounter that you have to do, and it's a pretty important encounter actually as well, in order to get introduced to these enemies, which are like the bulls. I'm assuming it's called a bull's hollow. I'm going to call him a beetle for safe measure because I don't want to act like an idiot and not know what the enemies' names are. Oop, okay. Let's see here. Alright, beautiful. These enemies are pretty easy to deal with if you know what you're doing. Just when they turn red, attack them, and then before they can attack you, just move out of the way of their shots. However, when you're dealing with multiple of them, it can be pretty finicky. But thankfully, that didn't become much of a problem. The optimal way that fight should go is just having them all die at once, and then you can push them off the edge all at once as well. And so we're actually going to go and interact with the trading outpost again. We're going to sell some stuff here. There's a reason that we're using the trading outpost instead of Clara, and I'm going to explain that in a bit. We're going to get 4 purple rivets, 4 rain wires, and a solar coil. We're going to construct bubble, and also mining speed level 2. And then we're going to go to the alpha. The alpha, the second one, is something that's very, very important because I'm always a bit short on Libadot here. We want around 1,400 Faunicle. We want around 8,600 Libadot, and we want around 2,400 Dynatite. Beautiful. All right, and this is the bubble ability where we can just kind of this is the bubble ability that we can get where we just kind of have a shield around us, preventing us from getting hit by any enemy. And it's very useful, especially in this alpha, where and in the later alphas as well, where we have to get really specific resources that take a lot of time to mine, and so we just want to make sure that we're not getting bothered by any of the enemies while we do it. And as I said, moving back and forth in between some of these areas will allow us to get to the top mining speed faster than we normally would. Yeah, I was pretty short on Faunicle in one of my playthroughs, so I want to really make sure that we have enough. And now we're going to get a good amount of Libadot and also, please, a good amount of Libadot and also a good amount of Dynatite. I also want some of this golden Pyatite that we see here. Beautiful. We're going to get some more Dynatite right here, and we're going to focus tremendously on the Libadot because, again, I do not want to be short Libadot, even though, if anything, the Libadot is probably one of the easiest ones to back up, and so you just don't, but either way, you just don't want to have to back up for them because, you know, the backups often are slower than just having enough when you need them. Alright, beautiful. We're just going to let the timer run out for that specific encounter. And we're going to talk to Clara here. The reason I'm spamming certain things is because sometimes Clara has a specific dialogue that happens here, and thankfully it actually happens to me where its specific dialogue happens. Also skip, I forget the split here. That is a bit off. Ooh, I accidentally triggered an encounter. But thankfully it was at the very beginning, and so nothing too detrimental that we have to deal with. And so we're just going to climb around this encounter like so. Beautiful. And so I want to explain, as I'm dashing through this section, exactly what skip I got there. There's a cooldown with a specific interaction that you have with Clara that either you say a voice line or she says a voice line, and there's a cutscene that was supposed to happen there, and with the cutscene, if you say a voice line or if Clara says a voice line before that cutscene starts, then the cutscene will simply just not happen. It will instead happen in the bottom left corner of this specific area, as we're seeing right here. And so with that, we are actually get to skip that specific cutscene, and so we can just we don't have to wait through it, because during that cutscene you actually can't move, you can't go to any specific area, and there's a 120-second cooldown for Clara to say a specific line, and that's the reason that we use a trading outpost instead of selling our stuff to Clara in the first place. But now we do have a cutscene that we have to sit through, so here is a specific time for hydration. If my explanation was a bit confusing, I do realize I kind of worded it a bit weirdly. We get to skip a cutscene if we wait enough time for Clara's cooldown to replenish. And so she can say a line before the cutscene starts, which will delay the cutscene and allow us to go to Big Oak early. Okay, we're a good bit through the run already. Clara is convincing us to go visit the rest of the gang again. And so with that, with this next section, we are going to grab the blink upgrade, which you're going to use pretty frequently as well. And we're going to go to sleep. Then this next area is called Stalled. It is where we're going to fight our mid-boss of the game. As you can see, oh my goodness, okay. The blink ability allows us to just blink through the air, and then it immediately also replenishes our dash. Like so. And so combining that with dash and also with the arrow ability, you get so much speed throughout the air. The movement is absolutely amazing in this section. And so now we get to fight the Winged Mantis, but first the game needs to tell us that we have new abilities such as Bubble, Bubble again, Bubble a third time, Blink. Gonna tell us 3 times? No, it won't. Okay, thank goodness. We want this to. We want the Wind Mantis to hit the ground like that, so that these rocks come out of the air. And we're actually gonna try and shoot these rocks into the Wind Mantis in order to have him take damage. And sometimes he flies. Sometimes you do certain attacks. Overall, you just want to make sure that these rocks hit him at the opportune moments. Oh, okay. You want to make sure he also doesn't get stuck in certain sections because it's going to be pretty hard to get him out. Oop, oh, okay. You also don't want to be on the floor when he does his mashing animation because he will take damage from the mash. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you can get 2 of him at once, but thankfully, we've been pretty fortunate enough to have a pretty good stall fight. Oh, and I like to bring that rock with me sometimes, you know, just for fun, just for the heck of it. So that was a pretty good stall fight. It wasn't a gold by any means, but it's still something that I don't think we're gonna save time on, but at the very least we might cut even. Actually, no, we're not gonna cut even. This animation, this like falling asleep animation, is way too slow for that. Or maybe no, because there's a cutscene that we have to skip here. So thankfully, we do have enough minerals as far as I'm concerned. And so we're going to grab a photosynthesizer and 4 alloy droplets. We don't have any sellable minerals, unfortunately. But we're going to go wait for this cutscene to start, and then we're going to go over to Noka Basin. And so one thing that I forgot to mention about the Wind Mantis is just the different attack patterns it can have, which is the mashing, the swiping. You want to get out of the way of its swipes and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter all that much anymore because, you know, we're already past it. But that's just something that we need to be cognizant of. And thankfully, we did have a pretty good fight. Alright, we're going to use 2 of the power bits earlier to get the lift design because the lift design allows us to get a boost of wind upwards. We're going to check how much Limedot we have. I'm 90% sure we have enough. We have plenty. Wonderful. We need at least 4,000, and we don't need any more for the rest of the game, so that's perfectly fine. Okay, boom. We're going to grab onto this. As you can see, I am using the lift ability, and essentially what we're doing is actually skipping pretty much all the encounters in this section by simply by simply keeping to the left of the trees right here. And so when you're at the left of these trees, you can just keep maintaining height. You don't want to use the dash ability that you got from Arrow because like these small abilities that you do get actually will decrease your height, and the height is something that you really want to have during this section, like that, you know, it'll slowly decrease your height. But thankfully that's not something that we have to worry about here anymore because we've already passed the part that is kind of detrimental to our height, where height is an important factor. And so right here we're just going to go across. And thankfully we do have enough faunicle as well. And we're going to wait here for Attila. My nose is so itchy, I don't know why. We're going to go to Attila's payment where we need 4,000 Limedot and 500 faunicle. Beautiful. And we're going to wait for this cutscene to end. We're going to wait for this cutscene to end, and then we're going to go straight to Sarto Tree. Oh my god, I forgot to split. Hold up. There we go. Perfect. Okay. This isn't a gold by any means, but it's still pretty nice. Now we're just going to go straight to Sarto Tree, which we did find a new skip for earlier for one of the encounters, which I'm going to explain later. And thankfully, I'm actually paying attention to my live split now. All right, so we're just going to dash through here. And then we're just going to come up, and there's an invisible wall here. Or you dip below it during this section. We need to go a bit out of bounds in order to skip one of those encounters. There's an invisible wall there, and so we were able to just dip below it and skip to this next section, where we go through here, and we're going to go into this section right here. We're going to use the lift ability. And we're going to actually stick close to this green area right here. We're going to like go around in a circle in order to avoid the collider for another encounter that we're going to have. And then we're going to climb up Sarto Tree. There's a specific skip here that I forgot. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, there we go. I almost forgot how to do that. Okay, perfect. There is a small section where you can gain more time, and of course, as I try to head for the new skip, I screw it up, because that's just the kind of luck this game wants to give me today. Oh my goodness, this movement, we might be losing time. We're definitely losing time here, unfortunately. We're just going to go up the tree the normal way instead, because apparently the game likes to curse me if I try to hit shortcuts. But anyway, as I was saying, there was a specific shortcut that we did get, but unfortunately we accidentally fell down the tree, so we don't get to do it. However, that just means you get to see the best of both worlds. Beautiful. And then here is another skip that we got in order to skip the final encounter of this area. Excuse me, thank you. You just want to go to the very tippy tip of this branch right here, and you can just go around it. And we're going to activate this cutscene right here, and then as we activate the cutscene, we're actually going to move backwards. And we're actually going to activate this encounter, but the only reason that we activate this encounter is because we want some Dalium. I like to get around 400 here, and then we're going to get some Iotite here as well. However, the cutscene overpowers the encounter, and so we can just get out. We're going to buy one hardened crystal, and then we're going to upgrade to the Spark Design. The Spark Design especially allows us to dispel any of the poison or the goo that we get from certain enemies. And this is comparing to average, so it's not like we're not like 3 minutes ahead of PB. This is 3 minutes ahead of average. But yeah, we're gonna go East March. And now we're going to go discover the East Marsh area of the game and go to Rocky Pass, which is another specific area. My goodness, my nose is itchy. And during Rocky Pass, we're going to try and grab as many alpha tracks as we can. There's one right here, thankfully. And There's gonna be another one coming up here if the game plays the RNG cards right. Thank you. Come on. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Try and grab this. Oh wait, I do actually want to collect some of that laurinite because I want at least at least 1,000 laurinite left, because we do need to buy one more neutron epoxy for the final section of the final section of the game. And so we want to make sure that we are upgrading everything that we need. We might need to back up on some Limedot for that section as well. There's no alpha tracks there. Is there any alpha tracks here before we head out? No, unfortunate. We're going to go straight to my outskirts, and we're going to come back to the alpha tracks later. I'm going to unlock some of these things here, see if we can get some. Okay, beautiful. We have 1,000 of that. I have 1,000 laurinite now. Fonical. I don't need that anymore, but thank you for grinding it for me. Beautiful. Alright. Ooh, okay, come on. Okay, some of this movement here, we are skipping an encounter here by going around this section, this kind of out of the way section to the right here, instead of going to the left, where the game will direct you in order to have a specific encounter. However, we're just going to go straight to this next section. We're going to skip another encounter by going onto this broken tree trunk, using the lift ability, and then going on to the other edge of this broken tree trunk, or hollowed out tree trunk. Going to go into the tree trunk and then just keep dashing. We need to activate this line that Annika says, and then we're going to activate this cutscene up here with another patrol group that isn't our own. And then auction prep. Perfect. We're going to try and buy. Yeah, we do need some more bark planks. And then perfect. I don't know why I bought so many of this. Yeah. We only need 2 of those. Okay, and then we're gonna try and get some Albatrax here. Let's see if we can get some Albatrax. Let's see if the RNG in this game feels like being good to me today. Beautiful, it does. I'd say we actually don't want to get to the Alpha right now. We're gonna go straight to Rocky Pass again, and we're gonna go to the right because we need to talk to the Hermit. The Hermit is going to tell us where the auction is going on, and the auction, and that will allow us to unlock the final cutscene of the game. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to activate this cutscene with the Hermit, and this cutscene will keep going on no matter where we are. So I'm going to take the moment to try and find some Limedot and also some Pyatite. Pyatite is not a necessity at the moment, but it's something that we're going to need after this section. But at the current moment, what I really care about is finding a good amount of Limedot. The Pyatite is just a bonus at this point. So I like to come into this root arena section where there's a lot of different deposits, mainly of like laurinite or Pyatite if you're really lucky like that. Okay, I'm just going to make sure there's nothing around us. Pyatite, because we're going to get Pyatite on the alphas later, and so you know, the more Pyatite you come in with, the less time you're going to have to spend on the alphas, which is just magnificent. Technically, you could skip this cutscene by dying if you die quick enough before the cutscene ends. However, I personally do not choose to do that because I'm oftentimes a bit low on the materials that I need here, as I'm seeing here, and I really do like to use it for backing up certain materials such as Pyatite, or I've had to back up laurinite, and of course in this case Limedot. I do think I do have enough Limedot that for what I need, thankfully, and the Pyatite is just an added bonus, so we can go on to collect more on the alpha, so we collect it. And so that is going to be it for this cutscene. We're going to go straight back to camp. We're going to talk to Clara. We're going to buy the bark planks. We still need 154 Limedot. We probably need to back that up later. Oh no, we got a bark plank. What am I talking about? We're going to get the decoy design. Beautiful. and then we're going to go to the Marsh Alpha Outfit. Marsh Alpha Outfit. Pressing that 5 times fast. Oof, camera, please. Okay, beautiful. The only thing that we care about right now is the Pyatite. That is the only thing we need. We need 800 Pyatite in order to sell for, in order to get funds for the auction, which won't matter because we're gonna end up stealing what we want anyway. But we're gonna try and get the bubble again is your best friend because it will just immediately grab all the materials for it. It will just prevent you from getting hit while you're trying to search for these materials, run around with these materials again. But yeah, we just need to focus on Pyatite. Pyatite is the only thing that matters at the current state. Perfect. Okay, and that's a spark ability, but I wasn't covered in goo, so you didn't see the full effects of it. But I'm gonna try and show it off if possible. Beautiful. Now repair. Always forget to repair. You need to make sure you repair. Now you might be thinking, I'm almost halfway through and I'm not even at 400 yet. How am I going to get 800? Well, there's a bit of an oversight. Ooh, I got a glitch that allows me to get all of the minerals within a specific deposit at once. And so, thankfully, we got it. Okay, we're going to grab all this, and then after we get this specific deposit, we're actually going to quit and then restart the file. This game has a specific bug that we did talk to developers. This is a bug. This is not like an intended thing. And so it actually, if you reset checkpoint or like restart the file, it at any point in the game, the minerals that you got before your last like official save, especially when you have an encounter like an alpha, you actually get to keep all of the minerals that you have. And so with that, we do not need to track an entire other alpha. We just need to get a certain amount of minerals on this alpha and then restart the file in order to get the rest of them. So far, this seems to be going pretty well. We're going to grab as much Pyatite as we can. Again, Pyatite's the only thing that we care about. We don't care about anything else. Grab this. Oh, that was just rude. That guy came out of nowhere. Okay, we're going to do bubble on that. Sometimes I'm a little bit trigger happy with the bubble. Like, I really don't need it until enemies start attacking me. And so you want to make sure that you're not overusing it by any means. There we go. Okay, we're really good. We only need 100 more. And again, bubble is your best friend. I love using it. Sometimes the controls do be a bit finicky on these specific sections. Alright, beautiful. And there I used the spark correctly by getting rid of all the goo that was on me. Here we go. Here's where we're gonna get the rest of our Pyatite. Beautiful. Okay. Now I want these enemies to either kill me or there we go. Okay. Now that I got 800 Pyatite, it was actually faster for the enemies to kill me instead of just waiting for the timer to run out. Okay. And now we want to get out of bed. Come on. Hurry. Okay. Now we have Pyatite. We're just going to give Car 800 Pyatite. This is not a goal by any means, but it's still really, really good. Okay, beautiful. And now we're just going to buy any like backup stuff that we can. Really, it's only holder ability 1. And then we're going to go to auction. Boom. We're 3 minutes and 52 seconds ahead of average. Let's go. Oh, dang. Come on. Okay, beautiful. What we like to do here is we want to stick, there's only one encounter before the auction itself. We can skip it by sticking to the left hand side of this branch right here. We're going to use the lift and then boom, we're just going to dash through this section. I understand that I have decoy. Thank you for reminding me. Pretty sure you already reminded me that on the alpha, but you know what? This game is finicky with that sometimes. It's fine. Beautiful. Okay. Let's get it. Use the lift ability here, and we're just gonna go activate this cutscene and also sit onto the right side, because whenever the cutscene ends, it's just gonna put you back into wherever you were before the cutscene began. Like so. And then we're going to ride this breeze upwards and then just get into the auction through the roof instead of through the front door, because technically we're not actually invited to this auction, or so the lore says. And you might have remembered at the beginning of the story, I told you that Annika's dad's rig, Krissa, who he named after his wife, his late wife, unfortunately, got stolen. And now at the end of the story, we see that the mech that is up for auction right now is in fact Krissa. So now we need to steal it, and we're going to tether it back over to this next section. And these flies are probably like the most annoying thing about this section, because they'll just keep following you to the ends of the earth trying to attack you. However, the most detrimental thing isn't actually the flies, it's actually the rain droplets that can hit you, because those are the only things that will actually make it so that you are untethered from Krissa. Ooh. Now here's the Phantom, which is the final section of the run. It can go really, really well, or it can go really, really bad. For one specific reason, it is the final boss, which is the Dragon Mantis. And the Dragon Mantis is no easy feat. Please, camera, adjust. Thank you. Beautiful. There's a specific trick that allows us to skip the second phase of the Dragon Mantis, and it will actually allow us to skip a really annoying fight. And so we're gonna try and see where we hit the nail on that head. Okay, beautiful. Let's see here. As you can see, the best possible time is 53:51, and like the average, I'm still only 4 seconds ahead of average. That's because this next trick can go terribly wrong. But first off, we need to go through phase 1 of the Dragon Mantis, which works exactly the same as the Wind Mantis. You want to just shoot the rocks into the path into the Dragon Mantis in order to have him take damage. When he gets around to 40% damage, he's going to start replenishing health. He's going to replenish health and then start phase 2. Oh my goodness, this is not a great phase 1. Oh my goodness, this is a horrible phase 1 so far. Oh my god, can you not move, bro? Can you stop moving? Okay, I need you to stomp before. Thank you. Beautiful. Oh, okay, his attack patterns are just not being nice to me right now. Okay, beautiful. That's nice. That's good. Thank you. Oh my god, his movement pattern is just really bad at the moment. Okay. I'm just gonna see. Okay, this isn't that bad. It's not that good. It isn't that bad. Okay. We're about halfway through here. Beautiful. Okay. Just gonna try and play it safe here and avoid him while we wait for the for our health to replenish. Alright, we're gonna shoot this. Oh, this is... Ooh, okay. Just a few more hits, come on. Come on, dude. Okay, there we go. We're finished with phase 1, and now phase 2. Okay, so this can go very wrong, or very well, depending on the way that this bug behaves. I'm gonna reset the file because it's gonna bring us back to the beginning of that section, and then we're going to actually. Ooh, we're gonna make sure that we're gonna try and dang it, he's flying. He's not flying though. That is the unfortunate thing. We're gonna see. We're gonna retry again. Just re-roll, reshuffle. We're gonna try and fly around this section because sometimes he will have a specific walk animation, and if he does that walk animation right here, he will sometimes exit the game early, or he will actually enter the death plane early, and then if he enters the death plane early, he will just right like that, you see. And if you enter the death plane early, then the second phase you can just skip entirely, and then boom, that's 5509. That is actually a world record by around 30 seconds. My goodness, that is great. We lost around a minute to gold on the RNG there for the boss. That's completely insane. But that's compared to average. Let's see, compared to PB is only about a minute, I think. Yeah, 52 seconds compared to PB. That is an amazing thing. I hope that you guys can enjoy this. I really want to do this as a race with Roadkill Revenge. If you are, for whatever reason, worried about the disparity between our times, like it's about a minute difference, it's actually going to it doesn't matter all that much because it's really hard to get really good times in this game because of just the RNG. This could have been a 56-minute run. This could have been a 58-minute run. That's why our estimate is going to be an hour and 5 minutes, because it can go up to that one depending on how good or how bad the game wants to be to us. So yeah, that is my submission for SGDQ 2022 for Stonefly. Hopefully as a race with Roadkill Revenge. I really want to do this with her, and so yeah, that is enough for me. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you consider for the event. So see you around.